Hi, everybody. My name is Isabella Garcia. Thank you for being here today. I'm going to talk a little bit about myself and my journey through caregiving and how I got started and how it helped me transition into my nursing career. So, let's start with a little bit about who I am. I grew up in Los Angeles, California. Um, I attended nursing school at Los Angeles Trade Tech. Um, it's a 2-year program, and I just recently graduated in June of 2020. So I'm a new grad registered nurse. I'm also a caregiver at home Instead Pasadena since 2016. So I've been here for almost 5 years now. Um, so I'm also attending Cal State University, Los Angeles, where I'm obtaining my bachelor's degree in nursing. Um, so as I'm obtaining that degree, I stay here at home instead, where I'm a caregiver for a few clients. In addition to caregiving, due to the pandemic, I've been able to help with COVID testing. So right now I do COVID testing at a studio center, CBS. Here I work in the medical department, and I do basically COVID testing every day to help these employees stay employed. And in the event of a positive COVID test result, I help with contact tracing. So this helps, reduce spread of infection and to inform people whether they've been infected, and then we contact, their close contacts. So I feel like this has definitely been a challenge, becoming a nurse during the pandemic and being a caregiver as well. But it's definitely rewarding. So let's move on to question number 1. What was your path to caregiving? So my path into caregiving, so first I decided I wanted a career in nursing. I wasn't too sure right away, and I needed something that would help me transition to the nursing field. So I started searching for jobs on Craigslist. I actually found Home Instead. It said nursing students needed, and immediately that struck my attention. I was like, okay, this is like a perfect opportunity. So I applied immediately. Took a while to hear back, but once I got the interview, I was very nervous. I had no prior caregiving experience, so I didn't think I'd be qualified. But I just took the chance, and they did accept me, and I was immediately thrilled, but also nervous because I'd never been a caregiver before, so this was very new to me. But yeah, that's what drew me here. That the fact that they needed nursing students, and to me, this would be like a really big step towards the nursing field. So let's move on to question number 2. What about caregiving did you enjoy the most? So the most about caregiving that I enjoy is for sure building relationships with clients. Most of my clients I've been with for over 2 years. So they really grow to, love who you are as a person. They start to see you as maybe one of like their own grandchildren. They, not only are you taking care of them, but they kind of take care of you in a sense where they make you feel very, they give you a lot of joy back because they really admire you and you're caring for them. So I feel like those relationships I really enjoy the most. And what was my least favorite part about caregiving? My least favorite part about caregiving would be sometimes they are not sure if you're going to be able to care for them. So, for example, I've gone into some shifts where they kind of look at me and they judge me from the start, and they're like, are are you gonna be able to take care of me? You seem kind of young or inexperienced, and that for sure kind of, makes you feel insecure from the start. But as long as you just, you assure them that you're there for them, and you have professionalism and confidence in yourself, and eventually that initial reaction, it means nothing, because they realize you're actually a good caregiver, and they learn to really like you. That was my experience, at least a couple times. But another challenging part about caregiving is maybe dealing with the challenges of like Alzheimer's or dementia. It takes a lot of patience and understanding, and maybe some background of how dementia works. Um, it can be very challenging and frustrating between either the client or the caregiver if you can't understand one another because of the disease that they're dealing with. So this takes a lot of learning, a lot of patience, a lot of support, and maybe communication with the family. So I would say that that's not my least favorite part, but it was a challenge, most definitely. So let's go on to question number 3. Can you share 2 examples of the skills or knowledge that you acquired as a caregiver? So a first example would be, people skills. Um, I didn't, like I said, I never had done caregiving before, so I wasn't sure what it was going to be like, and I didn't know how to interact initially with the client and their families, so this was a lot of learning for me. Um, I had to learn how to handle situations where the client, they were either upset with me, or they didn't understand, or why I needed to be there for them. They kind of denied that they required help, and they wanted their independence. So I gained a lot of these skills through being a caregiver, and of course the support I received from Home Instead as well. Um, Another example for something I've acquired as a caregiver, maybe just the patience. As I said, I really had to learn how to cope with these new people skills, and learning how to um, work with different personalities, and you know um, learning that they do require their independence, and they're still their own full grown people. They've been independent all their life, and here we are being caregivers, in entering their homes. So you really have to learn to have that mutual respect with your clients as well. So question number 4, how did you apply these skills or knowledge to achieving your current position? So my current position as a nurse, a brand new nurse and a COVID nurse, I'm dealing with a lot of different people. So it's taught me how to interact with various people, and just still being a caregiver for whether they're sick or injured, or not sick at all. You learn how to just caregive for everybody. So like right now I work in the medical department of a studio center, so it's not exactly healthcare. You're not in a hospital, you're not in a home caring for somebody who's sick, but you will have people who come in, and they're not feeling well, or they're just looking for feeling more comforted. Maybe they got hurt, it's very minor, but you still have to have that sense of caring and assurance. And so being a caregiver has really helped me have that level of sensitive towards people. Okay, so question number 5. If you had to use one word to describe your journey to your current position, what would it be and why? The word I could choose for that would probably be resilience. I chose resilience because, like I said, caregiving it's not easy. It's a challenge. Um, and when I first started, I was not sure if this job was right for me. But I knew I had to stick with it. I knew it was going to take some time to learn. Um, Being a caregiver, you're going to have a lot of different clients, a lot of different scenarios, a lot of illnesses, conditions that you've never seen before, maybe, especially if you don't have prior history being a caregiver or in the healthcare field. So a lot of it is a shock and brand new. So just having that resilience to overcome your own barriers and just being there for the client, it takes a lot of perseverance and willingness to learn and be there for the client. Let's see. So question number 6, I'm going to move on, would be, it says, what advice do you have for current caregivers interested in kickstarting their healthcare career? So my advice to current caregivers would be, if you feel you really love the position you're in and you're enjoying caregiving, you really enjoy taking care for somebody, being there and having patience, I would say, pursue education. I think what makes caregiving a bit easier is having background knowledge on the diseases that your clients do have, whether it's dementia, Alzheimer's, cancer, lung disease, any condition, physiological condition. It really helps to have a background of what they're going through and what pain they might be experiencing, how to make it better. There's always, research and evidence as to how what care is better for them. And so I would say pursue your caregiving. If you think nursing is a good path you want to take, caregiving is a very good, I would say, prerequisite to that, because that's how I took it. Caregiving for me has been a prerequisite into my nursing career, and just honestly throughout life, because we're all going to age, we're going to have family members who are going to age, and this is just, I think, very vital to have good experience. And okay, that's all the questions. So okay, so some more questions from audience. So do you find it hard to be a female in the caregiving industry assisting males? I've had my challenges with being a female caregiver, having assisted males. I've never felt uncomfortable. I've more felt my size or my strength has been a challenge. I've had elderly male clients who have, maybe fallen over and they need my help. That's been challenging. There's been times where I have had to call Home Instead for help. We even had to call in additional help from the fire department because it was more severe than just getting him up. It was a persistent problem. Other than that, I've not had other issues being a female caregiver for a male. I've been very lucky to have very great clients. Next question, did caregiving make you want to be a nurse? Actually, I wanted to be a nurse before I found caregiving. I started off in school already knowing that nursing school was the route I was going to take. So instead, it was caregiving that I found that would be helpful into that transition to become a nurse. So it's kind of the other way around. So did Home Instead train you to be a caregiver? They did. Home Instead is the first place I've ever come to for being a caregiver. It's the first place I found that provided this training. They provide bed bath training, bedside skills, um, help with dementia, how to give a bed bath. So Home Instead has definitely provided me all the skills and tools I use now as a caregiver. Um, and then, did I go to school? I didn't go to school for caregiving, but instead, Home Instead, they provide classes that you can attend to help you better be a better caregiver, such as, like I said, bed baths or Alzheimer's care. Okay, and that's all the questions.
You have one asking, as a female who's on the smaller side, how can I leverage getting into the caregiving industry? So Shannon asked that or someone.
Okay, so a question on being a female caregiver, being smaller and petite. Um, it's it's I wouldn't say I've ever had any drawback to that. Again, just with coming into the home of some clients, they would look at me and be kind of shocked, like, you look very small and young. I don't know if you can care for my mother or father, or the client themselves being, oh, I don't know if you're going to be able to, lift me from the bed to my wheelchair. You look very small, but you kind of, yeah, honestly, kind of prove them wrong because you end up, well, for example, they had a Hoyer lift and they actually trained me how to use the Hoyer lift. So I was able to get the client from her bed to her wheelchair with so much ease, and they actually end up keeping me as their only caregiver for the past like 3 years. So initially, being a smaller petite caregiver might seem a little bit, insecure for the family, but again, with the proper training, body mechanics, and assistance through the agency and training, the size definitely doesn't matter. It's about the interaction, the care you give, and just the emotional bond that you provide.
Did Home Instead work around your school schedule?
Home Instead. So Home Instead did work around my school schedule. That's something I really benefited from. They were always able to adjust. Every semester it's a new set of classes, so I just always submitted my new courses, and it's never been a problem. I've always been able to switch around my shifts with the same clients, or gain new clients for different schedules. So that's never been a problem. Whether I've had to decrease my hours significantly or I needed a lot more hours, it's always been accommodating with Home Instead.
Someone just said you mentioned a Hoyer lift. Did Home Instead train you, or did you get trained by the person who bought it?
So the Hoyer lift training, actually the client, they had the Hoyer lift already, so they helped me, but Home Instead also has Hoyer lift training. They have all that equipment here in the office. They have Hoyer lift training, gait belt, bed bath training. So again, I did learn in the home with the client, but they have that resource here in the office as well. So it's as simple as letting the office know you need that training, and they'll do what they can to provide that training right away.
And then, so final question is, how hard is caregiving and being a nurse has gone with COVID at the peak? Has it come down, or is it getting worse?
So has caregiving become more of a challenge with COVID and being a nurse? Um, I've maintained my same clients throughout the pandemic, and I wouldn't say it got any more challenging because the clients need you that much that you maintain the proper protective equipment. I go in, I wear a mask, I wear gloves, always wash your hands immediately upon entering the home. Just maintain those standard precautions, and caregiving has it maintains. They really need you, and as long as you maintain those infection preventions, there's been no challenge. So I would say it provided like it caused a barrier between the clients a little bit, but it's not stopped the caregiving experience. Okay, and that's all for today. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a great rest of your evening.